Do you ever feel guilty about using AI? Well, my colleague Brittany admitted without hesitation that she does. In this interview, we're going to talk candidly about why that guilt shows up, how she's actually using AI in her daily marketing workflow, and what it means for all of us trying to balance efficiency with authenticity. Trust me, you'll want to watch this interview all the way through. Let's get to it.
Swaay.Health.
Brittany, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Colin.
Thanks for having me. This is like one of my favorite settings for an interview. I'm like, come on, like relaxing by the pool, a beautiful backyard. Thank you for letting us come to you to do this interview.
No problem. Soak in some rays, take a dip maybe.
We're getting towards the end of summer
I
here
know.
in the Great White North. So we're relishing and cherishing every moment of sun and warmth that we get.
Every second. Yep. Every second.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about this month, obviously being AI month, AI and marketing in healthcare. So I recently posted an article around how I use AI, but I thought I need to turn the tables and ask you those same questions. So I'm interested today to find out more about how you're using AI and kind of your thoughts on AI. So
Awesome.
maybe just quickly to start, how are you using AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think like most people, and maybe not as much as most people, but I use it for idea generating. So, if I'm thinking about a specific maybe blog or article that we need to write or some content that we need to post, just kind of getting the juices flowing. A lot of the time, I'm a mom. I got two busy kids. Sometimes I have writer's block, like a lot of people. So it's a nice way to generate some ideas and kind of get those juices flowing. Um, Also, if I'm in a time crunch, I like to help it, or I like to use it to help me kind of create some of the things that we need to from a content perspective. So, say I've written an article and I need to generate a YouTube description. I will feed it, my YouTube or my article and say, can you help me generate a YouTube description? And it gives me a nice, description. I then go and edit it, give it to my own flair, personalize it a little bit, but it helps to give me that basis for what I need.
I like that. So you're using it very practically, it sounds like.
For sure, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I use the tools for that reason as well. I definitely use Grammarly
Mm,
because my grammar is not the greatest.
right.
And so it always catches like, hey, Colin, you switch tenses in this sentence or from one sentence to another. So I appreciate those kinds of tips for AI.
Hmm.
I'm also very bad at headlines, so
Mm.
I love getting some help there. But anywhere else that you're using AI?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely use it for, subject lines too. It's interesting. I think it sometimes goes a little overboard on subject lines, like a little bit too punchy. So sometimes I'm like, okay, give me five that are around this, basis. And then you can kind of pick and choose because it does give you some really interesting and creative ones. So I use it that way. I think also I like to use it as a check for things.
Mm.
So if I've built something or I've written an email, sometimes I like to feed it in and say like, hey, what did you think of this? And it kind of gives me some ideas and maybe some perspectives that I might not have thought about, when writing it. And I've been kind of training my AI to be more, in my brain and in our brand's brain. So sometimes it gives me those kickbacks of, oh, it could be you could feel a little bit more, the tone could be a bit better here, or you could be a little bit more punchy here, and then it helps that way. So I think really as a I don't even know how to as a teammate really to kind of give those checks and balances and help you with idea generation or even creating content and just kind of checking that um, those things that you might create and you want a little perspective on it.
So it's almost like an AI work companion.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I ask it this way, Brittany, like how have you benefited from using AI? Like meaning, has it saved you time? Is
Mhm.
it more stress relief? Like how have you benefited from using those tools?
Yeah, I think in different aspects, it acts differently, but I think definitely saves time. So if we're under a crunch and we need a blog on XYZ, it does help idea generate. It can also kind of here, you know what? Do you want me to give you 3 paragraphs that you could start with? That's great, and it can do that, but definitely saves time. I think as you said, as a companion, it helps to kind of check that, making sure that you're on the right path, and it does help you creatively as well. But I think for me, definitely a time saver is and in everything. If I need to read something or watch something, I can feed it a transcript and say, give me the key takeaways from XYZ. And then I don't need to spend 20 times watching it. So it definitely makes me a little, time saver, but more efficient as well in my workday.
Do you feel guilty about using AI?
Oh, 1,000% for sure.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I do sometimes too. But
Yeah.
why do you feel that way?
I mean, I think I don't want to come off as a poser. I've always been like a big rule follower, right? So, in school, I always wanted to make sure I was like going by the book. I was reading the book. I was writing the essay. I was doing all of those things. So, when I'm using AI for things, maybe helping me more than I'm using my own brain, I feel a little bit guilty. Whereas I'm like, I probably could have sat here and watched the video and done it on my own. However, this is going to save me time. So, I've used that. So I do feel a little bit guilty, whereas I don't want it to come off that I'm only using AI and I'm only using it for what it spits out and I'm not putting my own personalization on it. So sometimes I feel guilty if I've done that. Um, but then I get a reality check and I'm like, probably most people are using AI in the same way that I'm using it. So I don't feel as guilty because I have saved time. I am being more efficient and, it's, being I've become more creative because it's given me these ideas.
I do feel guilty like you do. I mean, my and then it's that imposter syndrome. Like
Mhm.
I'm always worried that, am I sounding smarter than I really am?
Right.
And then when I talk to someone, if someone's going to go, well, clearly you use ChatGPT or
Right.
whatever because you don't sound anything like you're writing.
Right.
Um, and I hope people don't get the impression that I'm really good at headlines because I'm not,
Right.
right? But so I feel guilty like that. But then to
Mhm.
your point, at other times I'm like, well, if I was working as a journalist at a traditional media outlet, the editor that I was working with probably would have redlined half my stuff and rewritten it anyway. And so it
Mhm.
wasn't really going to be 100% me.
For
So yeah,
sure.
I feel a little bit less guilty when I think about it in that context.
Yeah. And I think, as AI is becoming more, prominent in everyday lives, I think as you talk to people, everybody's using it in some way, shape, or form. And, are they always disclosing that, oh, this isn't my headline? Or, I see sometimes on LinkedIn, like, I didn't use ChatGPT for this post, which, is great. But I think everybody is using it some way, shape, or form. So I think you kind of feel a little bit less guilty as you use it. And then I make myself feel better because I am personalizing it. I am changing. I'm making, I'm being my own editor as well. I'm not just taking it and using whatever it spits out. You're making sure that it's on brand. It sounds like me. It sounds like you. And I think those are things that we want to do and make us feel a little bit better as well.
Any concerns about using AI, just in general, like for society, for us as marketers? Are you concerned at all about the use of AI?
For sure. I mean, I just hope it doesn't make me more, I don't even know how to say it, but like less smart as I age. But I think I had this conversation with you and someone else the other day. I can remember somebody's phone number from my childhood, to this day. But today I can't remember my mom's phone number because I have it in my phone. My phone does it for me. So with AI, I get a little bit nervous that, like, are we going to be using it for all things and then we stop using our brains for, XYZ, where we should maybe be sitting down and just, thinking through it rather than just immediately going to AI to get those things done. So I'm a little bit concerned in terms of that we're going to get less smart and more and more reliant on it, as we go into the future.
It's true. I mean, although I think some would argue the point that, well, why did we waste brain power in remembering phone numbers,
True.
right? Like
True.
that wasn't like a great use of our brain. Math, other things maybe, but like
Hmm.
remembering phone numbers, is that a thing?
Right.
I think kids would just go these days, yeah, like why would you put it
Why?
in a
Yeah.
note? Like why put it in your phone? Why
Right.
would you
But
remember?
I'm wondering, like, muscle memory. Is it doing something for my muscle memory? And I want to, like, keep that in my brain. But who knows?
I think the danger right now is if someone's completely reliant on AI.
For
Like
sure.
if you're using AI to generate your content, not editing it and just putting it out there,
Hmm.
then I think you are in danger of being caught, but also being singled out to say, listen, that's very clear that you used AI because I don't get your own personality in it
Right.
because AI has no personality
Hmm.
or very little personality. So I do worry that for someone who is really budget strapped, resource strapped, that they might do that, and I
Hmm.
think that will hurt marketing in general because then people will go, well, marketers, they just use
Hmm.
AI, so
Hmm.
why do we need them,
For sure.
right? So I think I worry about more about the use of AI harming us as a profession of marketers
Hmm.
because I think people can just go, well, I can get the same out
Hmm.
of that. So
Well, and I had that conversation with a colleague or a friend recently too. It's like, yes, our company is going to, and maybe there will be a big shift, kind of like the pendulum, a shift. Oh, we're just only going to use AI. We don't need marketers or we don't need copywriters. We're just going to use AI. But I think slowly, we'll start to realize that, well, yeah, you still do need a human element. You still do need someone who's reading it, making sure it's on brand, making sure you're not just spitting out whatever it comes and, for face value. And then, maybe hopefully it'll kind of shift here where it's you have AI, but you also have these marketers who are very intelligent and, need those functions to operate an organization.
yeah, it's interesting you say that because I've thought recently about whenever we've come out with new tools that make us more efficient, we'd love to say that, well, because of that, we can do other things.
Hmm.
But inevitably, it just means that we do more of that thing,
Right.
right? You're more efficient at producing content, so let's produce more content.
Hmm.
So, to your point, I do foresee that maybe down the road, marketers won't be writing initial drafts that much anymore. So, you
Hmm.
don't need to be as skilled about creating content. But now you're going to have this AI tool churn out 15 pieces of content written. Now you need someone to humanize it, turn it into your voice,
Hmm.
or even teach the AI to talk about your voice. Well, then you need a full-time person for that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they're not doing writing as much, but they are doing other things to help these tools be
Hmm.
more effective.
Yeah, be more strategic and then figure out how you need to execute it, all of those things that AI at this point can't really do.
Is there an AI tool or an AI technology that you're excited about, or that you can foresee yourself using down the road?
Um, yeah, I'm interested in how the whole, I think you and I have had this conversation, but the image generator AI tools will function. Funny enough, my kid watches this thing on YouTube where it's a would you rather. And it's just these images. Would you rather one, two, or three? And they're all AI generated images. And he watches it for half an hour. And it's like, would you rather this fridge? And it's like three different fun fridges that have all been AI generated. So it's interesting to see that, they're doing it for children content. And I'm interested to have how we could potentially use that for, images that we need rather than using, a Canva or like a Shutterstock. They could be more tailored for what we actually, think in our brain and then AI develops it.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, I do think that people who take stock photography are going to become much more specialized
Mm.
because right now, yeah, when we write articles and we're looking for a specific kind of cover image, we usually have an image I usually have an image in my head, like, oh, I'd love. For an AI thing, I would love to have someone using a laptop or using a tablet,
Hmm.
but maybe there's something like a matrixy kind of background. Well, those, yes, you can search on Shutterstock for those,
Hmm.
but they're very limited
They
options.
are.
And
Yeah.
maybe it's not the right color I want, and I don't want to bother doing the hue or
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
And so it's tempting to just go to one of these AI image generators and go, okay, I want a man using a laptop in this setting and with a
Hmm.
matrix-like background, and just see what it comes up with. So
Hmm.
I definitely am with you there. Maybe one day we'll use those kinds of tools.
Yeah, you see a lot of YouTubers, I think, who are like thumbnails. Like I think it's an art, right? So I'm sure YouTubers are using AI to be able to kind of generate these thumbnails that get people to click, right? That look a certain way.
Yeah, and remember, still remember back in the day, I remember getting into a real heated discussion with an old school print marketer
Mm,
who was like, I'd never use stock photography. I always use custom
mm,
because that was the way they used to do it.
mhm,
And then, because I was suggesting using something like Shutterstock, and he's like,
mm.
and I wonder if we'll
It
have,
was taboo.
yeah, I wonder if we have the same reaction to AI images. Like, oh
Right.
no, I would never use AI images. But then
Mhm.
everyone else is like, come on, get with it. Like,
For sure.
why would you spend like 4 hours getting that one image you want when you could just type it in and do it in 20 seconds, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think as we talk about things that kind of scare us about AI, I recently, and maybe this is me being so naive, but I recently found out that a lot of some of these videos that we are watching online, like if there's ones of like cute puppies playing in a field, those are AI generated. It's not real puppies playing in a field, and it kind of crushes my soul a little bit to think that like and we've had this conversation, what is real, what is authentic. So I think down the line I really hope that there are some parameters in place, or guidelines put in place where you know it helps us unblur the lines between real and AI.
Yeah. No, that's that. Well, we could do a whole episode
Right.
just on that,
Yeah.
Brittany. But I love where you're going with it because I have the same concerns. I definitely have the same concerns. Well, this has been fun talking about AI. Last question: do you have any advice for anyone out there watching or listening about how they might be able to leverage AI, or maybe feel less guilty about using it?
I don't know. I mean, I think the guilt has to, you have to feel the guilt and then kind of, you know, push it aside a little bit, because I do think everybody is using AI in some type of form. But I think as long as you are putting your own personalization on it, you're reviewing it, and you're not taking it just for face value, that is, I think that is key. And I think we've done that, you know, forever. I had a recent conversation with Matt Devenir talking about, AI, and, people had ghostwriters back in the day. This, like we said, the CEO doesn't necessarily write their own content, so using it as a little bit of a crutch. It's okay to feel a little bit guilty, but then, move that aside, and realize that, you are going to be more, efficient. It's going to save you time as long as you're putting that personalization on it, and not taking it for face value. I think we're okay.
Well, Brittany, thank you so much for coming on the program, and thank you so much for the venue for today's interview.
Yeah. Gonna have to go for a dip. It's getting hot out here.
It's getting pretty warm out here. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Colin.
Hearing Brittany talk about how she feels guilty when she uses AI made me feel a little bit less alone, because I feel the same. And I wonder if you do too. Do you ever feel guilty when you're using AI for your work? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the other Sway interviews on this channel. We've got more candid conversations with marketing leaders coming your way. I'm Colin Hung, and I'll catch you on the next video.